Welcome to SideGame LLC. In today's video we're taking a look at SideGame LLC's top 10 solo board games of 2025 so far. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button to let us know you want more content like this. For links to everything we talked about so you can get a copy for yourself, take a look in the description of the video. Without further ado, let's begin our list of the top 10 solo board games of 2025 so far. Before we begin, we have two honorable mentions, two expansions that are so good that they needed to be on the best of the list so far. Sharing number 4, we have Assassin's Creed, Apocalypse and Mythwind, Friends and Family. Set in Cambodia, your stealth missions take you to the jungle where you'll be interacting with wild animals as well as sneaking through the forest completing your objectives. It's a relatively short campaign expansion, where missions are brought together through a travel mechanism for fun choices, variety, and thematic intrigue. Assassin's Creed Apocalypse is the best in the series as it merges fun gameplay, without having to do any of the simpler tutorial missions, and immersive theming where each card feels wholly thematic while being mechanically competent. One of our favorite cards in the game is a simple event card that has the guards cutting the grass of the map, one of the hiding spaces you can be in. It's so simple but has a lasting impact on the board and is something that makes so much sense. No more spoilers here, Assassin's Creed Apocalypse is one you have to try. On the opposite end of expansions, Mythwind Friends and Family is a calm, zen game that leans into a more cozy experience. You're building up your town and focusing on the experience with the surrounding wildlife and spirits that you are learning more about. This new expansion brings additional goals you can strive for in the forms of relationships, whether it be friends around town or someone your characters may become romantically involved with. You now have something in addition to the objectives that you are putting the fruits of your labor towards. It adds interesting dynamics to your city building, decision making, and timing as you're trying to make the most out of each season and balancing your work with your social life. While simple to integrate, it adds a lot of fun and theme and pushes you to want to play just one more game once you wrap up. Those are our honorable mentions, two expansions, Assassin's Creed, Apocalypse and Mythwind, Friends and Family. Starting off with number 10, we have Spires and Ranjitaki. This solo board game comes from Greg Favreau of Favreau Games and has you adventuring across a deck of tarot cards filled with beautiful artwork, puzzles, enemies, and a 3-act story that presents replayability, letting you go back and experience the story in a different way. Ranjitaki herself is a conflicted character, and as the player you'll have to make tough choices throughout your experience. Our favorite part about this game has to be the world itself and how the artwork shows off its characters, culture, and danger. No spoilers from us, but it's an island-hopping adventure you'll want to give a try. That's the first entry on our list, Spires and Ranjitaki. Number 9 goes to Dragon Eclipse, a Pokemon-inspired solo or co-op game that has you controlling a party of mistlings, small creatures with elemental abilities. There are two main ways to play the game, with a campaign mode and a roguelike adventure mode. The campaign presents a streamlined approach integrating a storybook, reward cards, that provides lore and world building that connects your encounters. These encounters are a one-on-one fight with your mistling and an opponent's. Using simplified deck building, you'll prepare a set of cards to take down your enemies, creating combos, and using the cards you've chosen to maneuver around a map and interact with an enemy with an easy-to-manage AI system. Our favorite part of this game has to be the variety of mistlings and cards present. Each miscellane has a unique set of cards that you'll pair with some more generic elemental cards or base set cards that will get added to your collection over time. Each miscellane has its own gimmick, and it's up to you to figure out how to best use your collection to be successful with those gimmicks. On top of that, at the end of each campaign chapter, you open an actual booster pack of cards that will randomly add new cards to your collection, opening up your options, making sure your playthrough is different than anyone else's, and giving you that sense of opening a classic pack of Pokemon cards. It's a pretty successful way to get you wanting to play another mission right away. That's number 9, Dragon Eclipse. Up next is number 8, Metal Gear Solid: The Board Game. In this stealth board game themed after the video game of the same name, you'll go across various missions completing objectives by utilizing your items, special character actions, and a little bit of luck. Each turn you'll use action markers to interact with the board, moving around, attacking enemies, and attempt to stay hidden. Then the enemy will go and send out the guards to try to find and eliminate you. There's multiple ways to play, but the coolest by far is the campaign mode, where you'll be reading a graphic novel that sets up each mission and an overall story. If you're successful, you'll unlock new items and potentially characters that you can use for future missions. Our favorite part of this game is the variety in missions, with each giving something new to interact with and a simple rule set that takes the solid core framework in a new direction. No spoilers, this is one you'll have to give a try. One last thing, the tutorial for the game is excellent, and it's integrated into the graphic novel itself. That's our number 8, Metal Gear Solid the board game. At number 7 we have Stalker the board game, a back-to-back video game adaptation stealth game that also has multiple ways to play with a campaign and single-shot missions. Stalker the board game is a bit harder to get into with a more complicated rule set, but the payoff is absolutely worth it. Stalker has you playing as loners in the zone, a radioactive wasteland where you're trying to make a living taking jobs to make a couple of dollars. Each mission has you taking actions to maneuver around a map to complete your objective, while staying out of sight from the threats of the zone. These missions could involve taking out targets, exploring the zone itself by flipping cards and discovering mysteries across the map, or collecting dangerous artifacts from radioactive anomalies. When the mission is over, you'll go to a world map, interact with the locals, spend that coveted cash, and gear up for the next mission. Our favorite part of this game is the combat system. Depending on your weapon you'll use specific ammo, have specific range, and your character will give you a proficiency that gives them additional bonus successes that you'll have to consider. You'll roll some dice and be able to trigger abilities that affect your final result using the symbols on the dice. Each character and weapon has something special they bring, which brings a fun level of customization to the experience. Attacking is always a gamble, so setting yourself up to have the highest chances of success is part of the fun as you maneuver across the map to make that perfect shot. That's number 7, Stalker the board game. Number 6 is Scarra, a game all about resource management. It is you playing as an ancient Scottish clan in northern Scotland that's bringing in new settlers to your civilization. In gameplay terms, each turn you'll be drafting a card into your settlement that will trigger a chain of abilities. You'll then utilize workers, with the number increasing each round, to use your buildings, crafting upgrades to your settlement, producing and converting resources, or setting up for end of round and game scoring. At the end of each round you'll need to be able to feed all of the new settlers you've recruited, and also manage the waste generated by storing so many items. It's a unique take on resource management and conversion, and does an awesome job of ramping up throughout the experience, as you will continuously get more goods as more and more people visit your settlement, but you'll need to manage them before things spiral out of control. Our favorite part of this game is unique to the solo mode, the objective cards. There's one end-game objective card you'll need to satisfy, or you'll get negative points that gives you some direction and a new challenge. Then, there are 4 in-game objective cards that give you a unique resource conversion option that will give you a bonus action. If you don't complete those bonus actions though, you'll need to score some more negative points. This is going to push you to play thoughtfully, and sequence your plays to integrate these actions in the most optimal ways. That on top of the resource management and worker system themselves make this one we keep coming back to. This game was a surprise, but a welcome hit from Garfield Games. That's our number 6, Scarra. Finding Calm is number 5, probably the most unique game on this list while being the most simple. In Finding Calm you are laying these large tarot-sized cards in a grid, attempting to turn the cards face down. Cards will have symbols which indicate which of the neighboring cards will be required to turn face down, and you'll place cards one at a time until one card remains face up with every other space filled. That's the entire game, but you're here for the conclusion of the game as opposed to the game itself. This calming and zen experience leads you to a book of passages that provides you with some direction for the day to, as the game puts it, lead a calmer life. We won't share any of the passages from the book itself, but think of them as daily affirmatives, goals, reflection questions, or things to put you in a mindset to propel you for a better day and ultimately a better life. This game excited us to play it again and again, looking forward to our next day's passage. Not all of these are a hit, with some feeling more like things you are already aware of, not particularly relevant, but for the most part, you can take something from each passage and do something actively and instantly to make an impact on your own life. Our favorite part of this game is that lasting impact, but as a special treat, there is some unlockable content for you to discover and change up the gameplay experience. That's our number 5, Finding Calm. Number 4 goes to Eternal Decks, a card game focused on creating sets following increasingly complex restrictions. Eternal Decks is a scenario-based game where you are awaking different Eternals, utilizing their powers in the form of cards, and descending deeper and deeper into the land of the gods. Cards of the same color and number can't be placed next to each other, but as you progress further into the game you'll start adding additional restrictions and needing more cards in general to push for your victory condition. The solo mode has you controlling 3 different hands of cards with all information at your disposal. You'll cycle through each of these hands and take calculated risks to play out your cards in optimal ways. There's a neat push your luck mechanism, where you can draw extra cards that can help you complete the harder to achieve objectives. Our favorite part of this game is how dynamic the different scenarios are, with some having you create patterns, in a 4D chess sort of way, and others having you square off in a boss battle. There are multiple modes of difficulty to ease into the gameplay, and the core framework of the system is going to keep you coming back. That's our number 4, Eternal Decks. Our number 3 is Elder Scrolls, Betrayal of the Second Era. Spiritual successor to one of our favorites, Too Many Bones, Elder Scrolls has you playing as a member of a guild trying to complete a chosen quest. The entire experience is modular, where you'll pick your guild, your character, your race, do all the character building you can imagine, and then set out on your journey in a 3-act campaign. The campaign itself is manageable, as you'll steadily grow by earning XP, unlocking new abilities dice that you can roll, as well as stats to help you tackle each individual challenge. The game is a sandbox while having structure in the form of your quest that will lead you to traveling to different locations that gives you the options on how to tackle each individual problem. Each day you move your party token, interact with your location, and potentially fight loads of enemies. Encounters come in 2 flavors, a standard battle where you're trying to eliminate enemies, and delving, which is more of a dungeon crawl with an element of pushing your luck as you only have a certain amount of time to go as deep as you can. Our favorite part of this game is how all of this customization comes to a point in the combat player turn itself. You'll start each turn with refreshing skill dice, then have the option to maneuver around a map, then in any order use your abilities as well as roll dice you've accumulated. The game lets you gain abilities and then immediately use them however you like, feeling like a powerhouse. Chip Theory Games continues to provide top-quality components on this one, and an accompanying dice tutorial helps you get into the game without reading through the rulebook first. That's our number 3, Elder Scroll, Betrayal of the Second Era. Core of Discovery is the biggest surprise on this list, coming in at number 2. Based off of the graphic novel Manifest Destiny, you play as the Lewis and Clark expedition exploring the wilderness of the Louisiana Purchase. Each scenario has your party facing unique challenges, such as minotaurs you'll need to hunt down, or a plant that is zombifying the local population. After you pick your scenario, you'll use this simple but elegant map system, where you'll cover it with markers keeping the information underneath hidden, and reveal spaces as you play. At its heart, Corpse of Discovery is a deduction game, where each item you find will give you a clue as to what else is in the wilderness. For example, if you reveal a wood, you know there is water nearby, and if you see a mud, there must be a rock nearby. On top of the scenario objective, you'll also need to complete daily challenges that provide you with specific resource combinations you'll need to have or suffer a penalty. Our favorite part of the game is the careful balance between the survival system and challenges and the scenario itself, having to prioritize, and knowing when to take losses. The game itself is also just a joy to play. You're getting information incrementally, but at a quick pace that continues to keep you engaged, and it is a challenge. You also have several abilities at your disposal in the form of equipment and character cards that give you opportunities for making predictions, and in return give you small hits of dopamine through rewards for successfully deducing terrain. An absolute joy to play, and we can't wait to come back to this one. That's number 2, Corpse of Discovery. It's time for number 1, the best solo board game of 2025 so far. The Anarchy is the sequel to Garphill Games' Hadrian's Wall. In this game you play as the allies of Stephen de Blois, fighting against the Empress Matilda's rebellion. This translates to a heavy resource management experience where you'll be showered in resources and allocating them across your 2 giant sheets of paper. At its heart, the Anarchy is a flip and write game, where you'll use resources to mark boxes that trigger different mini-games that interact with one another. Each mini-game fuels the end-of-round goal of protecting your castle from attacking invaders and sieging other castles. Building off the original game, the castle defense is more in-depth, with you needing to build up specific walls, towers or gates as well as a moat to prevent different types of invaders from bringing you down. There's a lot of speculation, risk management, and thoughtful planning that goes into every action. The solo mode also comes with a campaign book with 20 missions that bring in special cards that are going to add variety and new things to plan for and utilize specific areas of your sheets that you may have neglected in previous plays, allowing you to explore more diverse strategies. We love everything about this game, and the cherry on top, our favorite part, has to be the 2 distinct modes of play. In the normal game you have your castle that you'll defend as well as an enemy castle that you'll be seeing, but in the siege mode the waves of enemies are intense, and it changes the game to be one of pure survival. Despite having only a few minor changes in the rules, the difference in gameplay experience is dramatic, intense, and challenging. The Anarchy is an absolute treat, offering a delicate balance of tension and pleasure throughout the course of the experience. That's our number 1, the Anarchy. And that's the list. Those are our top 10 solo board games of 2025 so far. For links to any of the games we talked about, please take a look in the description of the video. We hope you have as much fun with these titles as we did. SideGame Strong.